This is WSUR, and I am Crazy G. That, ladies and gentlemen, was Black Label Society Death March. Before that, Bullet for My Valentine, Truth Hurts, and kicking it all off, we had Avenged Sevenfold, Heretic Blood. Right now, we're going to go to the phones because I believe we have Mateo. Okay, Mateo, I am not going to say your last name because I do not want to screw it up.
It's not even worth a shot. It's Vosganian, but yeah, Mateo from Wild Adriatic. How are you?
Not too bad. Yes, Mateo from Wild Adriatic, the drummer. What's happening, and welcome to the G-Spot. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Thanks for having me. We're actually in the van right now on the way to Portsmouth, New Hampshire for a show.
My neck of the woods.
Yeah, it should be a good time. It's our first time in town, but we're pumped to be there.
Well, I got to say, you guys are taking the world by storm, and in such a short period of time. Can you tell us the story behind Wild Adriatic and how you guys formed?
Yeah, well, thank you, first of all. And second of all, we started a couple years ago. The singer of the band, Travis, is a very old friend of mine who was in several incarnations of what this band ended up being. And then I joined, and we found our current bass player, Rich, who was playing lead guitar in a local hardcore band. And we stole him, made him play bass, and then we became a three-piece, and that's really when the band started. We put out now 2 EPs, and this Big Suspicious is our first full-length album. So we've really been a band for like 2.5 years.
I've been following you guys. I report to CMJ2, and I chart you guys all the time I see you come around. Just unbelievable. As you said, your newest collaboration, Big Suspicious, it is a serious super jam and a half. What was it like writing this CD, and what type of concept were you looking for with it, if any?
Writing this CD was definitely much different. We, right before, like, pretty much like 6 months before we made this record, we became a three-piece. So that was a much different, there was a different vibe in the writing room, just the three of us getting together and working on these songs. And we really wanted to, we feel like we're very rock and roll based. We love rock and roll, and we also love old music, and we thought we'd bring that out a little more with this record. And I think we did a good job of, kind of showing everything that we're sort of running the gamut of all the things that we're capable of doing, and all the stuff that we want to do, so that the next record can be even more, in the direction we want to go, and have a little more soul and still rock just as hard, and kind of keep finding our sound.
It rocks incredibly. I listened to the whole thing, and I was like, wow, these guys just keep getting bigger and bigger and better and better,
That's awesome, yeah. That's great.
One track off this CD is making huge waves, and that's Mess Around. It is brilliant and full of groovy sound. What's the story behind that track?
That song is one of the ones that took us the longest to get together for the album. It was started kind of with a drum beat that I had that was very similar to what is in the song now, but it was a little different based on the floor tom, and just kind of based on that old sort of swing big band thing. And we messed around with it for probably a month, 4 straight weeks practice, just couldn't get anything going. So we put it to bed, and Travis came back a couple weeks later with this little riff, and he had an idea for the groove, and we made it a song, and that ended up coming together really quickly after that. But that's one of my favorites, because it kind of took us a little while, but once we figured it out, it was one of the songs where we decided that we could use a little less, and it would sound a little more.
You guys rock. You got this sound that just pulls you in. The funk, the soul, the rock. It has a culmination of all 3 of those genres, and you do it magnificently. You really do. Whoa also delivers with a punch of funky soul to the face. What was it like writing that song?
That song was another fun one that it got a little more fleshed out in the studio. It started with just being the three-piece that that we are writing the record. That song started off with just Travis, writing, with that guitar and singing "Whoa" in the beginning, and it was definitely a rock and roll song when we first started digging into it, and then we, in the studio we were able to flesh it out a little bit, and he added some really, really cool, guitar stuff that we hadn't been able to do, and we did group vocals for the first time with this band, which was a very fun, drunken evening at the studio with like 15 of our closest friends from town. So that was another blast. That's another song that's really taken off with radio as well. So
I was getting into it. I found myself just tapping actually getting up and dancing, because, they don't call me Crazy G for anything. Another cool track is Lose My Mind. The song has a heavy melodic feel to it. Was that the idea for that particular song?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that song we initially I think those two riffs were riffs that were written separately and had been worked on separately, and then ended up coming together pretty well. And I think that especially the chorus, like I use I'm the drummer, so obviously I'll talk a little bit more about the drums, but I use 16-inch hi-hats, which are just giant. They're basically crash cymbals used as hi-hats. It was this giant sound for that song, and I thought that that was kind of what we were going for, a big kind of fuzzy sound.
Yeah, and you can tell it actually felt like it was weighing on my shoulders, to be honest with you, right down on you. It's a very cool tune. I like it a lot. What is it exactly like when you guys get together and start the writing process?
Well, we have about 45 minutes of stupid jokes before we play any music, and then about 15 minutes of really, really, really stupid jokes. And then it's a really good vibe. Honestly, we're actually all really tight, really close friends. We live within 5 minutes of each other. We spend majority of our time together, so it's really easy to get into a room. And when we're all feeling it, it's the easiest thing in the world to write music. And sometimes we're not all feeling it, and we're pretty smart about being like, oh, this isn't really working. Let's go play video games or barbecue something or have a beer or do something else than this right now, and we'll come back to it when we can.
No, and I tend to ask that question of a lot of artists because not everybody does the same thing. It's always different. Everybody may think, oh, rock and roll music, everybody has the same pattern that they use to create, and that's not true by any means.
Yeah, definitely. Just to elaborate, we're a band that, like a lot of bands that I've been in, will do these marathon sessions where they'll get together for like 6 to 8 hours, right. And we're more of a band that we're consistently playing. We play several times a week live, and then we also do like 3 or 4 hour rehearsals where we're working on new stuff. So it's kind of like, at this point, actually, in the past few months, we haven't had too much time to actually sit down and rehearse or write with the new record out. So we're actually really excited to get it down to do that again.
You work so well together. I mean, it flows. Your style and sound is distinctive for your genre. Who are some of your influences, and how do they impact your creativity?
I think it's cool that we all have similar but different influences. I mean, as a band, we all love Led Zeppelin. We all love classic soul stuff like Marvin Gaye and James Brown.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of My Morning Jacket, a lot of contemporary stuff like that. And I know our bass player is big into metal, but he also loves a lot of classic rock well. And our singer is then into every kind of music, but loves a great vocalist and a great melody writer. Bands like Keen and stuff like that. So we're able to bring all those influences and kind of put them into our own little set.
Well, you do a great job of it, let me tell you. And my mind was blown. It really was. I mean, as I said, I've been charting you guys since I first took notice of you, I believe, a few years ago. Everything you've done is just amazing. It really, really is. If I'm correct, you're in the middle of a tour right now. How has that been, and are there any cool stories from the road you could share with us?
It's been fantastic, actually. This is our first kind of more than 2-week run, so we were out for like 2.5 weeks, and then we were home for a couple days, and now we're back out. But I don't know, as far as touring goes, it's good stories. We got stuck in North Carolina, so things got real weird for a couple days when we were just stuck in hotels and had nothing to do but hang out with each other. And we just had to talk for 6 hours on the highway. We were stuck in standstill traffic, and we're from the north, we're from New York, so we were really surprised to see like snow plows off the road. Basically, Armageddon happened in North Carolina when there was snow, and we just did not expect it. No matter how much people told us, like, these people can't handle snow, they don't have the equipment, or they're just not prepared.
So you were down there when that big ice storm hit.
Yeah.
They just couldn't. Yeah, it was all over the news. Yeah, I remember that.
Canceled a couple shows and stuff, and it was just like, it was a pain in the butt, but it also made for interesting shows along the way. We were in Toledo, Ohio, at the place called the Village Idiot, and that ended up being a fantastic show where all the people that couldn't walk to the venue, which ended up being about 40, 50 people, they walked there and got very drunk with us, and we played a couple sets and had a great time. So, I mean, sometimes it makes for great shows, and sometimes it makes for canceled, awful nights.
No matter what, it seems like you guys have the luck on your side. You have played with many bands, probably too many to mention. What has it been like performing with some of these amazing artists?
It's been crazy. I mean, the different kind of bands that we've been able to open for has been really nuts to me in this band. Like, we've been asked to open for Flogging Molly and bands like Starship and Blues Traveler. And the cool thing that I've noticed is that most of these groups are the kind of bands that we want to be when we grow old, and not necessarily genre-wise, but I mean like bands that have they have long touring careers, and they also treat everyone around with them with respect, and were super cool to us, and gave us everything that we could have asked for out of these awesome amazing port slot. So it's been a real trip to meet some of our heroes too that way.
You know, everybody wants to meet a hero or two through their lifetime, and I think you guys will exceed that with the rate you're going. The fans are growing and going wild, literally, over Wild Adriatic. First, what would you attribute this to? And second, what would you like to say to them?
Well, I mean, I definitely would attribute it to we're a very easygoing, social group of people. This is what we love to do. Like, there's a reason we're on the road the next 6 to 8 months, out of this next 12-month period here, because that's what we like to do. We like to meet people, and I think we've made so many friends across the country at this point by touring and by being just the kind of guys we are, that's going to keep growing. And people like to hang out with us. Our shows are all about having fun. We're not the most serious band in the world. We take ourselves seriously, but we love to have just a blast. So I think that really connects with people. And as far as what I want to say, I mean, what we always say to the people is that we say thank you to our friends across the country who come out to shows. We meet new people every time we go, and we see old friends, and they let us sleep in their houses and take up their couches, and they make us breakfast, dinner, and all these things that it's kind of overwhelming to think about sometimes. But we appreciate it, and we couldn't do anything that we do without those people.
Well, I'll tell you what, you have my cell phone number. If you ever need a place up here in Massachusetts to crash, feel free to give me a call, because you guys can come hang at my place.
All right, we'll come get crazy with you.
Definitely. Listen, one more question, I'll let you go. Many things are going on for you guys at this point. What is next for Wild Adriatic, and can we expect more of the same from you guys in the future?
Next for us is more touring. We're touring right now to the end of March. We're doing South by Southwest, and we'll be out again in May. But the big thing that I'm really excited about, I gotta kind of put it out of my brain. It's so far away, but we're going to Europe for our first tour over there in November and December. So we'll be there for a month, which is going to be absolutely amazing. And looking at hopefully releasing some new music early next year, and just keeping the touring train rolling. We're not looking to stop doing what we're doing anytime soon.
Amazing, outstanding, and I'll tell you, I'm glad I've been turned on to you guys, because you've given me another perspective in this industry, because I'll tell you, when I think I've heard it all, that's when you start hearing new stuff, and that's exactly when I caught wind of you guys. So I want to take the time right now to thank you. I want to thank Wild Adriatic. I want to thank NewEnglandConcertReviews.com for hooking this up. I wish you the best. I wish the band the best, and I can't wait to hear more from you guys and actually possibly see you live.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully we'll be out your way soon, and we'll definitely be in touch. We'll have yours when we come through.
All right. Sounds like a plan, man.
All right. Thanks a lot, Greg.
Hey, no problem. Thanks, Mateo. Have a good one.
You too, brother.
Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mateo, the drummer from Wild Adriatic, and great conversation. Always fun talking to these artists, cool individuals, and I love my job. What can I say? So check them guys out. They got a new CD called Big Suspicious, Wild Adriatic. Check them out on Facebook. Check them out on their website. Check them out wherever you need to. Give them a like there and tell them Crazy G sent you. Right now, we're going to get back to the music. This is Metallica, When a Blind Man Cries, right here on WSUR.